The iPhone 11 Pro is officially out and in the hands of millions of people. Reviews so far have been mainly positive, with critics praising the new cameras and the much better battery life. Hey, how's it going? I'm Josh from 91 Tech, and I picked up the iPhone 11 Pro Max a few days ago and sold my iPhone XS. So, let's talk about some of my impressions. The design has been criticized pretty heavily, mostly before the launch, but as usual, when Apple actually revealed the iPhone 11 Pro, a lot of people were like, actually, it's not that bad. And I've pretty much had the same reaction. The centered Apple logo, the 3-camera setup, honestly, I kind of dig it. The frosted glass also adds quite a bit. You can kind of imagine what it feels like just with that sound. It's quite nice. It feels really good in the hand, even if it is a little bit more slippery, but who am I kidding? I'm going to be using a case anyways. The notch is still there, but I think people overestimate how much of a difference reducing the notch size actually makes. Personally, I don't care that much. Battery life is supposed to be way better, and I can confirm this is true. This is the first time ever I felt completely confident that my phone can handle a full day of heavy use without its battery needing charged. And then there's the focus of the iPhone 11 Pro, the camera. I think the consensus right now is that this is the best camera ever on a smartphone, but the Pixel 4 is right around the corner. Ignoring the Pixel 4 for a moment, I agree with the consensus. It does come down to personal preference. Some people are going to like Pixel photos better because they're more punchy and with more contrast. But from my experience, just for having the Pixel 3 and the iPhone 11 Pro Max, so far it seems like this phone takes much truer to life pictures, and that's something I personally prefer. Plus, I mean, the biggest thing is you get 3 cameras on this phone, which is insane, whereas on this phone, I mean, you get 1. Now, of course, this is going to change. I believe the Pixel 4 is going to have at least 2 cameras, but at the moment, this is the best camera setup there is. Mind you, this video isn't my full review. It's more of some quick impressions, as well as a few things that actually completely blew me away. The first thing I should talk about is that this is my first plus-sized or max-sized iPhone. I used an iPhone 8 Plus for about a month last year, but besides that, I've always had the smaller iPhone 6 or 6S or 10 or 10s, and so it's kind of interesting going to the Max. It's a lot bigger, but at the same time, it doesn't really feel that weird to me, I guess. I adapted to it really quickly, and that might be because I used the Pixel 3 XL for a week beforehand, so I was used to the bigger size already because that phone was bigger than my iPhone XS. This is definitely a chunky phone though. It's fairly thick and it's heavy too, but I don't mind because of the better battery. And that battery life, man, it's hard to explain just how important it is to have reliable and consistent battery life, and with the iPhone 10 and 10s, it was always just too sketchy for me. That was my biggest complaint about the phones. They were usually good, but sometimes I'd be ending the day really cutting it close. So having this kind of battery life is a huge improvement for me and pretty much makes the phone worth buying just for that. Yes, I could have bought a battery case, I get it, but this is much more fun. The Pixel 3 XL for me was fairly decent with battery, but this one's just on a whole nother level. It is 7 p.m. right now. Guess how much battery I have? I have not charged this phone once today. I haven't been using it a whole lot, but still, 81%. At 7 p.m. Not every day is going to be like that. Some days I'm going to use my phone a whole lot more, but still, I've never had a phone last that long into the day. That's crazy. I'm also super glad they included the fast charger. I think that's really nice to have, and I'm glad I didn't have to buy it separately. One thing I'll quickly say is that a lot of the benefits you get with this phone are going to apply to the iPhone 11 as well. The ultra-wide camera is on the iPhone 11. The great battery life is on the iPhone 11. I maintain the fact that the iPhone 11 is the phone most people should buy. So yeah, if you're in the market for a new iPhone, I do recommend the iPhone 11, but if you really want that OLED display, the iPhone 11 Pro is a great phone. And that OLED display, I mean, it's as good as ever. It's brighter than it used to be. This is one of the best displays on the market, but yes, 90 Hz would have been really nice. Apple, next year, 90, 120, please. iOS 13 is an interesting experience. I've been finding this phone quite buggy compared to my iPhone SE, and that's likely because I was only testing the iPhone SE, whereas I've been using this phone as my main driver. Just a lot of UI problems, just some annoyances here and there. For example, Instagram is always cut off at the top, which makes writing captions tough when I'm posting pictures. At 91_tech, by the way. I'm not saying you should go follow me, but you should, and if you don't, I'll be severely disappointed. Dark mode is slick, and I'm happy to have it it now. It can be a bit jarring at times to go from dark mode apps like Twitter or Reddit to very bright apps like Instagram, so I'm hoping that now that iOS 13 has dark mode as a whole, a lot of these apps like Instagram will start adapting to have dark mode options because it's nice, it's easy on the eyes, and I've always liked it better. I do miss 3D touch quite a bit. I'll get used to it, but things like hitting the camera button or the flashlight on the lock screen just isn't nearly as satisfying as it used to be, so that kind of sucks. But let's come back to the cameras, because that's the upgrade that makes the iPhone 11 Pro worth buying over, say, an iPhone XS. Battery life helps a lot, but it's the camera that Apple focused on for a good reason. These cameras are outstanding. Pixel 4 right around the corner, but Apple may finally have the best smartphone camera since, like, I don't know, the iPhone 4S. I don't remember the last time they had the best camera, but they might have just done it this year. It is really, really good. HDR is significantly better this year, and that triple lens setup means you can get pretty much any shot you want in any situation. Just to show here, here's a picture of me holding the iPhone 11 Pro box in ultra wide, now in the regular wide lens, and now in the telephoto lens. You get a lot of range there, which is cool, but I'll come back to that. You can get really good photos, and I'll be showing a lot in my main review. This is just more impressions, so I'm going to save a lot of the good photos for that review. One thing I was really surprisingly impressed by was the selfie camera. iPhones needed an upgrade when it came to selfie cameras. The XS still only had 7 megapixels, and this year you get 12 megapixels with an option of 7 megapixels. So how it works is basically you have a wide option that looks like this, and then a closer option that looks like this. I think this was a really good way for you to get wider selfies without doing what the Pixel 3 XL did with the 2 cameras on the front. So if you actually have friends, now you'll be able to take a better selfie with them. Portrait photos have also been more consistent from what I've seen. The phone still struggles with glasses, which is a bit disappointing, but when it works, it looks really, really good. I also like the new white background you can add in portrait mode. If you get a shot where everything is properly cut out, it looks awesome, and so there's that. And mind you, the portrait photo I was showing there, that was taken with a selfie camera. You're going to get better ones from the back camera, so that's worth mentioning. And let's talk about those back cameras just a bit more here. Here's another comparison between the ultra-wide camera, the regular camera, and the telephoto camera. There are some other phones that have this too, but I think the iPhone provides the most consistent experience across the 3 cameras. The lighting barely changes, and there usually isn't much of a shift when switching lenses. The ultra-wide camera to me is particularly impressive. It's not going to look as good as the main camera, which is still going to be the best lens for most pictures, but it allows you to take photos that were never possible on an iPhone before. Video taking is just as good, actually better than ever. 4K 30 looks amazing, and some shift there is to be expected. After all, this phone is literally changing to a different physical camera lens. Of course, there's 4K 60 as well, which I haven't really tested out too much yet, but from what I've seen online, that also looks really, really good. Night mode is here, and oh my gosh, it actually looks good. I was really not expecting it to be as good as it is. People have been comparing it to the Pixel 3, and from what I've seen, it's been a bit mixed. Some people say it's better, some people say it's worse. And so I've been taking night mode shots, and most of them have been kind of consistent with the iPhone's favor. And some people aren't gonna like that, but I don't know what to tell you. These are legitimate shots I've taken. Here's a quick photo of a parking sign. These photos here were before night mode, and now you can see some photos that were taken with night mode on both phones. I think the iPhone did quite a bit better here. The sky just looks much better in my opinion, and the Pixel is a bit grainy, so. And then this photo here that I'm about to show you, this was the biggest one that cemented to me that I think the iPhone does a better job. Now, I'm not saying that for every single photo in every single situation the iPhone's going to do better, because it's not. The Pixel is going to do better sometimes. But from the limited amount of testing I've done, I mean, it's not even comparable here. So right now on the screen you can see 2 photos, one from the Pixel and one from the iPhone. I mean, they're both not good photos. The iPhone maybe is a little bit better, but it's pitch black outside. This is pretty accurate to what it looked like in real life. It was pitch black. My friend is standing there, but you can't even see him. It's just his silhouette. And now, here's the shots from night mode on both phones. The iPhone blows the Pixel 3 out of the water completely in this shot, and it isn't even close. The Pixel gets out a blurry mess, probably because, again, there was no light at all. It was pitch black outside. The iPhone, though, somehow not only lights my friend's face, but it's much clearer. This isn't a good photo, but there was no light. I can't emphasize this enough. It was pitch black. I'm excited about the iPhone 11 Pro camera, and don't worry, I'm going to be taking a lot of photos with it. This video isn't about whether or not you should buy the phone. I'm going going to save all that for the upcoming review. But this phone does have a lot of good, and despite the leaks at the time seeming disappointing, now that the phone is in my hands, I gotta say Apple actually kind of really delivered. This is a much bigger upgrade over the iPhone XS than I expected. Battery life, camera, overall experience. You miss 3D touch, but everything else is better. Some people might call this the iPhone XS, and that's kind of fair, but it is a bigger upgrade than a lot of people are going to lead you to believe. Should you upgrade to it if you have an iPhone XS? Absolutely not. And I won't say whether or not you should buy it because, again, review coming up, but this is a great phone, and I'm really enjoying it. And I have to say, I think Apple has made the phone to beat this year. This is a great, great smartphone. But with that, I think I'm pretty much done here. I've had a good time, and so my impressions are very positive. But hopefully you enjoyed this video, and if you did, maybe hit that like button and consider subscribing for more content just like this. You can follow me over on Twitter and Instagram at 91_tech. I'm going to be trying to post more photos from the iPhone 11 Pro than I did with the XS. I'm just going to be posting a lot on there, I think, because it's fun and people like it. So if you want to go see that, check out my Instagram and Twitter at 91_tech. But with that, thank you so much for watching. I'm Josh from 91tech, and I will see you all next time.